the Tom Griffin Power Cube Prototype 6. All right, I love it. Oh, wow. That looks pretty good. Painted. 2. Tell us about it.
This is the Power Cube. This is the one we've been working on. We've got.
How long did it take you? So you scrapped basically Prototype 5 for technical reasons?
Probably went with this prototype. This is I'm thinking this is still a Prototype 5, but it's more of an enhanced version of it. And so several of the things that we did, if you don't mind if I can point it out, is we have a commercial muffler on it. And this one, I had to do a little bit of an extension on it to make it fit, but it is in there now and it quiets it. I also put rubber vibration mounts for the motor, so that these will allow the motor to give a little bit and vibrate freely. And this just right over here is a controller. We have a thermostatic switch and a controller that goes to the fan, and this will cause it so that the fan will only kick on when the hydraulic oil meets 180 degrees.
Okay.
And then one of the bigger features over here on the other side is this right here. We have a 5.5 gallon fuel tank.
Nice. And is that replicable? Do we have a good source?
No,
not right now.
This is a one-time thing, and as it turns out, Surplus Center, I tried to buy another one, and they don't have these fuel tanks anymore. So going forward, we're gonna the next generation of it. We're gonna have 2 of these large 12 by 6 tanks here, like the hydraulic cylinder, or hydraulic reservoir, and we'll have one just like it for the fuel. That's the next generation. We're already working on the next prototype.
Excellent.
I've got another piece of the hydraulic reservoir over there.
Excellent.
And that's gearing up for the next generation.
Nice. So this is the.
Yeah, I just have it set in a closed loop because I don't have anything to drive it with right now. But this is a quick coupler. And I put the couplings on here using rubber hoses, so we wouldn't actually connect directly to the cooler or the other thing. So it gives some strain relief on that.
3/4.
This is 3/4. This is 1/2 coming off of here. It's under higher pressure.
Yep.
And so it can flow, under high pressure, it can flow that volume easy enough. But 3/4 on the return, and then we have a 1 inch on the suction that goes from the hydraulic reservoir to the pump intake. There is one other enhancement that we did, and now with the fuel tank, I like this approach to where this right here, we're taking the fuel directly out of the top of the fuel tank. And so we don't have a hole drilled in the bottom of the fuel tank, and that's for obvious reasons, so it won't leak.
And the pump, these engines, that's a Briggs & Stratton Professional Series 810 cc 28 horsepower engine.
Right, it has a pump, and this is the pump right here, and it draws some of the vacuum pressure off one of the cylinders, and it operates this pump, so it can actually pump it into the motor. So that has enough suction where it can draw from about 2 feet of suction to get the fuel out of it.
So we've got the next version of the tank. Now we're going to have to expand the cube a little bit to fit the second fuel tank, the fuel tank on the bottom. Do we have that resolved yet?
It'll actually make it smaller, a little bit smaller.
Yeah?
And this one is 29 by 27 by 25. And the next one will be exactly a cube. It'll be 26 on every side. And so the designs are even the edges where we weld it right here, will no longer be staggered. It'll be a flush cube on every side.
How do you do that?
Magic. No, I have a special saw I'm going to have to buy. It's
angle? You're going to do it at an angle?
Portable bandsaw. So we can take a piece of angle iron like this, and we can have, say, like 1 piece solid, and then we can cut a slot out of here. And so that way we'll be able to assemble a perfect corner and then weld it all together.
Did we try that in the former prototype?
I didn't.
Okay. Okay, this is looking good. Now I notice you mounted the fan right through the.
No, this is actually the temperature sensor.
Oh.
And it has to go through there. The
Okay,
fan
temperature
is
sensor.
mounted, we have it by these mounts, and this came with the fan assembly. If you look on the back side of it, you can see where it has these rubber bushings that fit in between the cooler right here.
Yeah.
And the cooler, these attach to these metal straps, and I just bolted that to the frame. And then the fan goes, and it uses these little plastic members that go through the cooler fins, and then the fan just attaches right here securely.
Plastic members through the. That's not going to flatten out the fan.
No.
Against the corrugated ribs of the fan, and that's all you're supporting the fan with.
But it came with some foam rubber to go between the cooler and the plastic that it attaches to. Of course, it would have been better if I'd noticed that before I installed the fan, but.
Wait, so these ones came with the fan?
Yeah. This came with the fan. The fan was intentionally done this way, and you can see on the other side on the other side of the plastic members over here on this side, it's got little springs that give tension, so it just holds the fan snugly, but it gives it a little bit of room to wiggle, and it doesn't actually touch this. It actually holds it off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just about 1/16 of an inch off of the cooler.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, good mounting on a fan right into the frame. So this is a sensor for 180. Don't you want to set it a little lower?
I wanted it lower, but this is the one that came with.
Because 180 is max. I mean, you want to go.
I would
the
like
limit.
it a little cooler, but
Yeah.
but that's what it has.
Uh-huh. Can we get ones that are 160 or something?
I'm sure we can. We just have to look for it.
So you don't want to use the power to run the fan below that? It doesn't take much power. What's your reason for that?
Well,
putting-
the thing is, you don't want to just have the fan running needlessly. I mean, it's not so much for power conservation, but also it's just for cooling it. You want to cool it at the right time. And especially if you're running in very cold climates, well, you want to maintain the heat. You want to maintain the hydraulic oil at a certain viscous. How do you call it?
So for cold
Viscosity.
temperatures, you don't want to cool it because that will just make it perform worse.
Right, because it'll thicken the oil, and that has performance problems. If it gets
Okay,
too thick, it's harder
good
to
point.
pump, and it can actually cause cavitation of the pump, which will destroy it.
Okay, good point. Excellent. Anything else? So the tank, now what are we going to do on the next version for the muffler?
Well, the next version I can show you in the SketchUp, but the engine is going to, we're going to have a second tank over here on the side, and then the engine is going to actually sit in between these two tanks, and the muffler will be up above the level of the tanks over here. Because they have two different versions of this muffler. The one hangs below like that, and the other actually sits up above the engine, and it makes a 90-degree angle to connect to the
So in
engine.
the next version, that issue will be resolved. Will it also straddle the platform, or it won't straddle the platform at that time? It will be different. Because here you have the muffler straddling the platform.
Right. Well, on the next version, the muffler is actually going to be, it's going to have a 90-degree bend
Okay,
here,
okay.
and the muffler will sit up
Okay,
above.
sits on top there. Yep. And you've got the full shaft, the coupler.
Right. Now notice also the mount here for the
Yeah.
engine to pump.
Does it spin freely? Yeah, it spins freely. Okay, good mounting of the
Just,
pump. It's aligned.
Compression of the engine. Yeah, that's it.
Let's start it.
Now, I was having trouble starting this thing, so it may have to crank it for a little bit and then let it sit. But it turns freely.
It does turn freely. So, do you think that's a defective engine, or?
I'm going to call the small engine supplier. I'm going to ask them for troubleshooting.
Okay.
It may. I was wondering
Can we-
if maybe the magneto.
Okay, can we try it? I got 3 seconds.
Sure.